This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's Black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising, with James Farr, every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th, with an encore presentation, Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
I like to dedicate this to all of the Creator's righteous children. I have some food in my bag for you. Not that edible food, but for you. I have some food for thought. Since knowledge is infinite, it has infinite refill on me. So, it was a stormy night. You know the kind where the lightning strikes. And I was hanging out with some of my artsy friends. Ooh, you, the night was long. People pulling out through the break down. Incense was burning, so I'm feeling right. Yeah. See, I kissed my friends like a fish for free. Again, he told me that when I was only a youth. I don't walk around trying to be with them nice. I don't waste my time trying to get me the gas.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome in. You are locked in with Joe Monroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. You are checking out the entertainment news of the day. And happy birthday to the great Erykah Badu, giving us knowledge from her apple tree. We appreciate it. I always love Miss Badu. At least I do. So listen, this is the show where we hit all the trending topics and headlines that have gone on throughout the day. You know, your front row seat to the culture. And tonight, we are getting into a lot. Halle Berry, she's checking the haters. She has a word for all of you out there that says Halle cannot keep a man. So we're going to get into her comments, her clap back, and her response, which I thought was quite eloquent. We're also going to talk about, you know, the D.O.C. He kind of kicked off part of the West Coast movement. There was NWA and D.O.C. came out. We know he suffered a terrible car accident and lost his voice. He's recently talked about the advice that Dr. Dre gave him following that accident. And we're going to get into, was it fair? Was it just? Was it the right thing, right? It might have changed hip-hop forever with the advice, but we're going to talk about it. And we're also going to give you an update on JayZ's legal battle against attorney Tony Buzbee. But that's not all. We've got a special in-studio guest tonight. We're going to be joined by Mike Snow, a finance and entertainment insider. He's worked with Beyoncé, Will Smith, Tabitha Brown, Tyler Perry, and more. And now he's changing the grooming game with his Cologne Butter brand. So we're going to talk to him about his journey from Wall Street to Hollywood and how he became an entrepreneur. But of course, before we get into all of that, you know, I got to hit you off with a couple of trending topics, little conversation starters. Now, you Real Housewives of Potomac fans, Karen Hunger, the Grand Dame, as she is known, has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for her 2024 DUI crash. She's only going to serve 1 year, and the second year will be suspended, but many were shocked that she actually got jail time. She was found guilty on 5 charges, including DUI, negligent, let me slow down, it's Wednesday, driving, and failure to control speed. So there was body cam footage, and it showed her stumbling around, slurring her words, and cursing at the responders on the scene. So her Maserati hit a light pole. She had an attitude. Bravo. No pun intended. Well, a lot of pun intended. But look, we need a special episode and update for that one. Seriously, she had 3 prior DUIs before this one. And, you know, she could have taken a life. She could have taken her own. So although you never want to see someone of a certain age have to go and, you know, spend time in prison, sometimes you got to take accountability and learn the lesson. So prayers out to her. She went to rehab and was absent from the reunion. So I hope that she is getting that together. By the way, she was taken into custody immediately. So That's a wrap on that. Also, our guy Fitty, this is not his social media update. This is one about, his role as an executive producer and creator. He's in his producing bag once again. He's teaming up with Ron Stallworth, the undercover detective who infiltrated the KKK and Black Klansmen. And he's creating a new Hulu series. It's going to be called Hip Hop Cop. And it's going to follow Stallworth's undercover work in the 90s hip-hop scene in Salt Lake City, of all places. So a hip-hop cop drama in Utah? They better be having beats and bars and all types of interesting concepts, because hip-hop in Utah, I'm not seeing the correlation. Maybe there's some Mormon rappers or something, but we know 50 is pretty much a master of this crime drama genre. Let's slow it down. So we're going to see what he has to offer with this. So when we come forward, we're going to get into Halle Berry clapping back at you haters that has something to say about her relationships. And later we'll be having our interview with Mike Snow and more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message from the rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
If you struggled to lose weight in the past, this important message is for you, because you could lose as much as 50 pounds or more with Zelfie. Zelfie makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelfie providers can prescribe FDA-approved GLP-1 weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight, like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others. Plus, help get the medication covered by insurance, so it's as little as $0 a month.
The doctors are super helpful, and the meds have been a game changer. It's the first program I've had success with.
Before Zelfie, I was unable to lose weight, even though I was eating healthy and exercising 6 days a week. Zelfie helped me not only lose weight, but I feel so much better.
Text GOAL to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy or Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text GOAL to 200-300. That's GOAL to 200-300. GOAL to 200-300.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, welcome back in to KBLA Talk 1580 with me, Jill Monroe, for your entertainment news update. Now, remember, if at any time you want to get in on this conversation, 800-920-15 with the relationship police, right? She was recently on the Drew Barrymore show, And she hit back at those who say, Halle can't keep a man. Look, her explanation of what is going on or what has been going on seems perfectly reasonable to me. And it should be noted that she has been very happily in a relationship with Van Hunt for several years. So she can keep a man if she likes, but we're going to get into what she said, and then we're going to, talk about it, get your thoughts on it. So let's get into that.
I've heard people say, something must be wrong with Halle Berry. She can't keep a man. Who's to say I want to keep a man? I don't want to keep the wrong man. Like, I'm not crazy. Right? So when you find that you make a mistake, we all make mistakes. We have a right to say, oh, God, this was a mistake. Let me start again. We have a right to do that.
So, I think that's perfectly logical. In this era, with everything on blast and social media, although this is something that has been following Halle since the 90s, David Justice, Eric Benet, Christopher Williams, if you know, and others. We know about her relationships with her children's fathers and the messy breakups, but I think that there's something to, if you realize the situation that you are in is no longer serving you, why stay and suffer? I'm not saying give up on the first try. I'm not saying, we understand that marriage is for better or worse, sickness and in health, all of those things, but we don't have to sit there and be miserable if we're not, or if we realize, we thought it was one way, and as we grow, we hope, as we are growing individually, that we can grow together and still continue on. But sometimes that doesn't happen. So we end up, switching it up a bit. And I think people should give Halle a break. She's been talked about a lot. She also, on this interview, talked about her journey being perimenopausal. And that is not something that a lot of women want to step out and have a conversation about. And I think it's kind of dope that Halle is doing that. And being the face of it, she's one of the most beautiful women in the world. And people don't really think about the fact that, though still beautiful, she is aging. Halle is close to 60 years old, still looking amazing, but she's going through this thing that all women eventually will get to. God willing, that you live long enough to see it. And she is trying to figure out ways to help women get through it and move through it. And she has a product line. And, check it out. Pretty Brown Mimi in the chat says, Halle Berry has been married like 3 times. She keeps them for a while, and a man like Van Hunt is definitely fine. Looks like he's a keeper. And she seems like this is the happiest that she's ever been. We're really hard on people in the spotlight, maybe a little bit of projection in it, maybe because some have been criticized for the same things. Whatever the case may be, I'm happy for Halle. Pretty Brown Mimi is getting into the misdiagnosis. She also shared a story about how she was misdiagnosed and told that she had an STI, and in reality, it was something else. It was symptoms related to her being perimenopausal. And with that, she talked about having a conversation with Van Hunt, and that, it wasn't contentious. They were trying to figure it out, and he was like, look, something's going on, something's wrong, you need to go to the doctor. And they were cool. Morris Phillips says, hey, men don't get a pass. Men don't get a pass for what? Which aspect of it are you speaking of? I just think that men do get a pass, though. They're being single for extended periods of time or dating a lot of different women isn't necessarily looked at as them being a failure, and a failure to their manhood, I should say. With a woman, it's like, well, what's she doing wrong? Why can't she keep him? What's not hitting? And listen, there's a lot of things that play into it. We know Eric Benet said he was a sex fanatic. He went to rehab for that. David Justice was just in some other things. And they have both went on and had other relationships too. But I think that we often discount as well what it is for a man to be with a woman like that, a superstar, universally considered beautiful, And that can be intimidating as well, especially at those points. Her career, in some ways, eclipsed her partner's. So it's a delicate balance. Terry says in the chat, I respect Halle. Halle has a reputation for working with her black community. She's a great actor. She's fit, and she takes care of her body, mind, and spirit. Well, there it is right there. So, Morris Phillip, you said issues. What issues? Are you saying that Halle has issues or men aren't allowed to have issues? Men are very much allowed to have issues, I think. I think that there is more patience in allowing them to develop, you know. I think that they have more runway. They don't necessarily have to come already put together. They're given a little leeway and space to grow into that, whereas women kind of have to show up put together. Forrest Harrison says, yeah, when me and Halle were together, it was my fault we broke up. I worked too much. Hilarious. So, you know, shout out to Halle for taking a stand, defending herself, and, you know, creating a product line, setting herself up for whatever the next thing is. We know that she is producing now, and I think that she is undertaking some directing. So developing a product, and one in a space that is needed and not overcrowded. You know, it's not a makeup line, it's not a skincare line, it's not a hair line. No shade to any of those things. We love all those things, but it's nice to see some diversification in that. So next up, Dr. Dre. Now we know Dr. Dre is a perfectionist. We know that he has a high standard when it comes to his music. That's why we're still waiting for, the closest we came, I guess, is Missionary, for a solo Dr. Dre album, a follow-up to, The Chronic 2001? What was that called? I think that's what it was called. Yeah. So, you know, I don't think we'll ever get that. But I heard there's some great features that were dropped in. But back in the day, he shared something with hip-hop legend, West Coast legend, Dallas, Texas legend, D.O.C. So the D.O.C. wanted to keep rapping after his 89 car crash, after losing his voice. And we know that it was a long road for him to get his voice to the condition where it is now. So initially where it was, not even really close. You can listen to like the Chronic album and some of the skits where he was featured on. And Dre gave him some tough love and told him, don't rap. You don't sound good. It's not hitting. And instead of rapping, we know that he went on to get more into writing and got into that side of his bag. But, you know, Andy, I want to know, because D.O.C. has what is considered a classic West Coast album, the first album, or at least the single, right? Funky Enough. Is it still? I mean, it is to me. I don't know if the kids know about it or really embrace D.O.C. But do you think Dre was right, or do you think that D.O.C. could have made something worse with the rasp and the way that it is?
That's kind of tough. That's tough. It's crazy because I know that with AI, I know that D.O.C. has been working with AI as a way to kind of resurrect his career in a lot of ways. At that time, Dre might have been right. He's a producer, so he knows a lot about sounds. And with that raspy voice at that time, I don't know if it would have matched what was known to the world. So I don't know. But for right now, hey, use that AI, man.
Use that. So you're here for the AI rapping with him. Only with him?
In his case. Because if he can provide great lyrics and AI is going to go ahead and utilize his voice from the past, but we know that it's him, though, I'm all for it.
But this is my thing. If we have a problem with it with regular, like, nobody liked when Drake used it in, which song was that in the battle? When he did his...
he used the
Tupac and Snoop, right?
Yeah.
So, and granted, this isn't the same thing. He is recreating his own voice. But still, same kind of concept applies. It's still, like, would you follow an AI rapper You know, they're creating these AI influencers.
I would not.
And they have like So
in his case, though, I'm gonna give D.O.C. a pass.
You gonna give him a pass?
Absolutely, because I know how much his voice meant to his career. You know, and I see how excited he is about. Well, damn, maybe I can go ahead and do music again. He's the only one. He's the only one.
He's the only one.
He's the only one.
But if he does it, others will follow. He will set the standard in the stage.
They don't need to follow. Just like with the whole what was that? Lil Wayne, what's that? Auto-tune. Not everybody used auto-tune.
Almost everybody did use auto-tune for a minute.
And where are they at now? Where are they at right now?
A lot of them are gone.
Exactly.
Right? But that's what I'm saying. But were you part of the movement that felt auto-tune killed the industry?
No.
No?
No. Not at all.
Not at all.
It's too many artists out here. You know what I'm saying? To trip over one artist who's utilizing it.
Right, but it's going to open the door. I mean, again, D.O.C. do it. Like, it's funky enough. It's still, like, my jam. It was, you know, he had the voice. He had a presence. It's sad that we won't ever get to see what his career could have been.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, though he has a real story and stuff to talk about, I feel like that window was closed.
That's fair. That's fair. Who's actually checking for the D.O.C. right now?
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think that.
But with LL just dropped an album.
He did.
I mean,
listen, we talked about this. It's not because of age.
Okay.
LL dropped an album. Ice Cube. No, it has nothing to do with the age. I mean, we talked about that. I like seeing older rappers. I like that rap has extended its thing. When Run DMC were in their heights, 28 was old for a rapper. You're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like that these men are able to come back and speak about different things and give a different perspective. Would love to see Latifah come back and do something. Light dropped an album.
She needs to.
You know?
MC Light had a dope Tiny Desk too.
Right. So I'm saying I feel this. So it has nothing to do with that. I just think that his time as a rapper might be done. I'm not saying don't do it, because everyone should try. I just struggle if I think that it would be effective in this era. But you never know. It might be. So let's get back to some of these comments in the chat, because they're still bustling over. Pretty Brown Mimi says, nobody ever says Shamar Moore can't keep a woman. They sure don't. He just broke up with baby mama, you know. But, again, that's why I said men are distinguished. They can be eligible bachelors long into their 50s.
Distinguished gentlemen.
Distinguished gentlemen. Oh, yeah. You know, men, as they get older, get distinguished. Women, we're changing that, but just get old. That is the thought process.
We need to change that narrative, though.
I agree.
I'm getting up there.
Are you feeling it?
I'm not personally feeling it, but, like, the whole idea about, you know, women kind of losing whatever, I don't believe that at all. If anything, maybe because I'm getting old and I'm, you know, I'm growing with y'all, you feel me? I'm like, yo, I mean, I'm taking, but
right.
you know,
you are aware of what you're surrounded
I'm like, this is 40,
respectfully.
This is 50? Yo, this is 60?
Right.
Man, come on now.
So, I mean, I think we can all, we just talked about Halle. I get it. She's a star, but, you know. Summer says, Halle was in a movie and never let it go last year. Check it out. It's pretty good. I think she produced that as well. Morris Phillips says, after all these decades, Halle is still relevant. It's impressive. Forrest Harrison says, the D.O.C. did an album with his voice like it in the early 2000s. It wasn't good. See?
Was it because of the voice or was it production? What was it?
What was it that wasn't good about it, Forrest? Summer asked, do you know the sample D.O.C. used for his first single? They actually replayed it. It was the Silvers, right? From It's Funky Enough, it was the Silvers, which was a group not unlike the Jacksons in the 70s. They came out maybe a little before the Jacksons or a little after. I think they were discovered and signed to compete with the Jacksons. It was brothers and sisters. I can't remember the lead member's first game, but that was like one of their big hits that Funky Enough is sampled from. So you can check me on that, but I'm pretty sure that I'm correct on that one. And yeah, Misdemeanor by the Silvers. There goes Forrest Harris in the chat. Thank you very much. Morris Phillips said, oh, okay. listen. So we covered a lot there, right? We went through a lot. Here's the thing, though. Look at the conversation difference. Halle and D.O.C. are not that far apart in age, right? They're not. And they're contemporaries, but people are like, Halle can't keep a man. Oh, what's going to happen or whatever. And D.O.C. is out here like, hey, I'm about to restart my career. And nobody's like, you're too old. So, and I don't think he is. That's not what my point was. Remind me.
So what's the summary behind that?
The summary behind that is that, we are a male-dominated society. We are patriarchy. And there needs to be a little bit balance.
Hey, Halle Berry might not be able to keep a man, but I'm sure there's 20,000,000 men lined up.
Indeed. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into this interview with Mike Snow. We're going to talk more trending topics and headlines. You are locked in with Jill Monroe here on KBLA Talk 1580, News, Traffic, and Sports on the other side.
My fabric keeps moving like a rolling stone. I can't control the soul flowing in me. See, I picked my friends like a baby free. Again, he told me that when I was on the I don't walk around trying to be with a man. I don't waste the time trying to get what you got. I work to please me cause I can't please you. And that's why I do what I do. I'm so flash free like a willow tree.
You're in the know with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Or someone you know is affected by the Los Angeles wildfires, you are not alone. No matter how sad, scared, or heartbroken you feel, Cal Hope is here for you and all those affected by the devastating wildfires. Find free, safe, and confidential mental health support at calhope.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
All of a sudden, the Lakers are only 2 games behind Memphis for the number 2 spot in the Western Conference. The Lakers are 4th in the West, which assures them of a first-round bye in the playoffs. But the way the Lakers are playing lately, they have a legitimate chance to improve their playoff seeding. The Lakers, 8-2 in their last 10 games, play their next 5 games at home. This late-season surge is a direct result of the Luka Doncic trade and LeBron's impressive play after his 40th birthday. Since turning 40 on December 30th, LeBron is averaging 26.2 points, 7.8 rebounds, 8.4 assists, and shooting 51%. LeBron's 39% shooting on three-pointers is tops among all NBA starters. As for Doncic, the Lakers are 7-2 since his arrival earlier this month. The Lakers have 26 games left in the regular season. If the Lakers can stay healthy, they could be a strong contender for the Western Conference title in the playoffs. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Who cares about the black community in Altadena? We do. On Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., it's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th with an encore presentation Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like it inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. Cal Hope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
High energy, full with the wisdom, sense of a rich man, knowledge and the rhythm. This is what I'm using to come up with a style, so I'll interact all together better with the crowd. Nervous for a second and the record starts spinning, and I fall into the state of mind of what I've just created. Pumping like the doctor, D into the RE, suckers ready to leap up on the tip when we made it. Created so I'll never be regarded as a regular, more than just a little bit better than my competitor. You should never underestimate the fashion. I hope for the stage, whether I'm cooling or thrashing. Cracking the concoction created by me. When read, you read, E equals a D.O. to the C. Knowledge and the talent that my mother had born to her equals an artist I won't be worn. What is that, Dre?
It's the formula.
Welcome back in. You were locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Little D.O.C. 89. The Formula. That was the name of the album. The title kept right there. Listen, that voice is timeless. I don't think the AI sounded too great. That's the only thing. You know, maybe they can refine it some, and we'll get back to it. Andy.
They should have gave the AI audio to Dr. Dre to produce
to tweak?
To tweak it, yeah.
I wonder how he feels about AI and working with it and stuff like that. If you give it to Dr. Dre, though, it'll never see the light of day with his perfectionism. We'll be waiting a decade for it, and at that point, it'll be senior D.O.C.
Hey, Dr. Dre did drop the Compton album.
He did. That was 11 years ago.
I understand. But I know
which was 15, almost 15 years after the Chronic 2001.
Yeah, but he still dropped something, though.
Listen.
And I feel like folks need to go back and actually listen to that album, because that album...
What, Compton?
It was criminally underrated. I feel like that was the introduction to Anderson .Paak. The music on there was dope. There's a Kendrick Lamar record on there.
Yeah, Women We... That was my song. Yeah. Listen... I think part of the problem with Compton was that people were expecting a Dr. Dre album.
Agreed.
And this was more of a compilation.
Understood.
So, you know.
But it's still Dr. Dre influenced, Dr. Dre produced. If y'all haven't listened to the Compton album, even though it was years ago.
11 years ago.
Tap in.
It was a companion piece to the Straight Outta Compton film when that dropped. So, that's, you know. I liked it. I appreciate it. When's the last time you spun something from it, though?
Sometime last year.
Okay. I still listen to the Kendrick Lamar cut from it. That's the only one, though. Not for any particular... That's just the one that I liked those two back and forth together. I liked their voices together. I liked the track. I just thought it was...
The production was immaculate, too.
Man, wasn't it?
You know, Anderson .Paak. Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to Anderson .Paak. All right. So we have a guest today. We are joined by Mr. Mike Snow, and he's built a powerhouse career. You know, from finance, entertainment, and now product innovation to go along with it. We're going to hear about his journey from Wall Street to Hollywood and get into the details of all of this. So, Mike, you heard the applause. Welcome to Jill Monroe's Entertainment Update.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pull the mic closer.
All right. How about now?
Grab it. Yeah, grab it.
Okay.
Yep. There you go. So, you know, from a former J.P. Morgan investment banker turned CAA and Paramount Global executive, what's that path like?
Where do I begin? So I graduated from Howard University. Shout out to HU.
HU?
I majored in finance. And growing up, some of my favorite movies was Wolf of Wall Street, The Boiler Room. I just loved all the, excitement, action. They were dressed up really nice, every day going to work. And I figured I wanted that to be my career. So that's why I went off into investment banking at JP Morgan. And just growing up, I never really thought I would be able to work at a place like that. Growing up, I did have some learning challenges. And my parents, we worked together. We worked through it. And once we did that, I went off to a private school in Delaware. And then I was able to graduate from Howard. So, shout out to the parents that really stick with their kids and just push them through.
So you have helped broker some amazing deals. You have helped the financing for some amazing independent projects, right? So, I got to ask, what is it like brokering deals for these huge celebrities and pulling all of that together?
Sure. That's definitely the number one question I'm asked when, folks hear that I work for CAA. It's synonymous with Hollywood. And a lot of people want to know how, what's it like in the hallways of 2000 Avenue of the Stars.
Right.
And
you got to tell people what 2000 Avenue of the Stars is for those that don't know, because that's an iconic address here.
It's actually a tour on these Hollywood bus tours. Like, sometimes going to work, you would see these Hollywood bus tours. So it's definitely a staple that a lot of people come to just to see the building of where these, super agents work that represent, everyone from Will Smith to Beyoncé to George Clooney, you name it. They typically rep those people.
So what happens, with your job, especially for films? You're the person that I would need to call, hey, I have this script, I have these actors, we have a little bit of investment money, but we need some more. I would call you.
You will call CA agency, and then they will directly to the particular agent. So how CA works is different than other agencies. So one talent, they will have a group of agents. So one will do TV, another will do film. So everyone has about 8 different agents versus another agency where you have one particular agent that does all your deals. My department was commercial endorsements and brand partnerships. So with that, it's any type of brand deal, let's say Beyoncé and Ivy Park or Cardi B and Pepsi. It's any kind of collaboration. So that's the department that I worked in.
Okay. So now you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You have Cologne Butter. So you have to tell me what that is and how you came up with that concept.
Absolutely. So I'm a lover of body butters. I get real ashy, so I need something that's a little bit thicker. So with that, a lot of body butters on the market, they are particularly no scent or they smell like, mangoes or strawberries. And I just don't want to smell like that. I want to smell grown, sexy, sophisticated. So with that, I started mixing in my cologne into my body butter. Just a plain body butter. So I know a lot of people out there, they're mixing their colognes with Vaseline. Let's stop doing that. because you're going to be coming out real shiny and greasy. So let's cut all that out. So with that, I just started mixing in my own colognes. And, when you mix it in, it actually lasts longer. So people's always like, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? And things like that. I like very unique scents. So with that, I was like, let me try to come up with my own scents. And that's what I did. And that's where we have with Cologne Butter.
Okay. Well, listen, we have a call for you. So we have Morris on line 1 from LA. Hey, Morris, thanks for tapping in. How are you?
Oh, got love for everybody. My brother, listen, are you familiar with the de-dollarization campaign that's taking place around the world through the activities of BRICS?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Are you familiar with the de-dollarization campaign that is taking place around the world through the organization of BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America? I'm sorry, South Africa. Please, I apologize.
Is this entertainment related, or are we talking finance separate from that?
Well, he mentioned finance, and that's what got my attention, because where I'm seeing it right now is the dollar is in trouble right now. We're talking about inflation, buying food and gas and whatnot, and one of the reasons why the dollar is in trouble, it don't have the kick that it used to have, is because people are trying, countries are finding other ways to trade without using the dollar, so it don't have the same impact that it once had. So when you mention financing, and I'll listen to some of the places where you've studied, I'm thinking, oh, this is a no-brainer. I know this brother's familiar with what I'm talking about. I probably can't take this conversation everywhere, but I thought I might be able to bring it to you.
You know what? You probably could, but tonight I'm kind of focusing a little different area, which is, this is an important conversation, but we're going to put a pin in that and get back to it.
And I understand.
Okay, I appreciate you, Morris.
Appreciate you too. Bye-bye now.
When we come forward, we're going to get more into Mike's body butter, because I want to know what these scents are. And, might have a couple of questions to him about the biggest money mistakes that entertainers make. Maybe there's some lessons in that for us. All that and more on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Looking for a smart way to grow your savings and support your community? City First Bank's 3-month mission-driven CD offers 4% APY, giving you a strong return while backing businesses and communities that need it most. You will earn more and make a difference. Grow your money with purpose. Open your 3-month CD today by visiting cityfirstbank.com or visiting your local branch. City First Bank, banking with purpose, investing in community. Member FDIC, rates subject to change, terms apply. Visit cityfirstbank.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are back locked in with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580, and I am joined by our in-studio guest, Mike Snow, who is finance, entertainment, and now entrepreneur. He has a line of cologne butters. You also have perfume butter for the women.
Correct.
So let's talk a little bit about these scents, because I see them lined up. I see for the women, gorgeous, ambition, dream. For the men, intention. What does that say? The one?
The one.
The one. Gratitude. And I see you got beard wash. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, for the male grooming.
Yep.
So tell me about these scents and what goes into, let's say, the one.
Sure. So with the names, I came up because they're like affirmations. Typically, you're wearing these, you're putting these on when you're getting ready in the morning. So as you're putting it on, you're saying gratitude. I want to have gratitude. You want to walk in with intention. That's another name. The one is like just self-confidence, like I'm the one. So that's how I came up with these names. The same concept with the women, gorgeous. That's a hint of confidence as well. We have ambition. So it's just mantras that you're saying as you're getting ready, just to kind of get you ready for the day.
So as your background is in finance, so
yes.
What did you do when you decided that you wanted to take these from making them from yourself personally to creating a brand where you would sell it?
Sure. So I never really thought I would be entrepreneur. It's not something I was like, I want to create a brand. It's just something that I just naturally did. It was a product that I was just doing myself. I was getting positive confidence, and people just like, they wanted to know what it was and where I could get it. So that's like, let me try to bottle this up and try to sell it.
Did you have to get financing?
I'm self-financed.
You're self-financed? What is that journey like? Because are you still working like a day job while you're doing this on the side, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I am freelancing with some independent TV and production companies. One in particular is Imani Media Group.
That's Manny Haley, right?
Manny Haley.
Shout out to Manny Haley.
And Yolanda Haley. So I do freelance some of their projects. So I do that in addition to this.
Run down a couple of the projects that you've worked on, because I don't think people realize Manny used to manage Keisha Cole. Then he moved into the film space producing, and there are several films that are really popular that people enjoy.
Absolutely. Like Dutch, the True to the Game series. We have another one called Aftershock, which is following the tragic story of Sean Bell. I'm not sure if you guys remember that story, but he was shot on his wedding night.
Yeah.
And, 50 times by the NYPD. So they really tell stories that, sometimes are untold or forgotten. So they do a really good job on that.
So listen, the chat is going crazy. We want to buy from this brother directly. Support. We have someone asking, they asked if you had a women's line, which you do, and where can they get it? So you got it. One, tell me what your personal I know they're all your children, and it might be your personal one from each line. It might just be what's your favorite today.
Yeah.
Because if you're like me, my favorites move. They tend to change with the seasons, with the day, with my mood. So we want to know that. And then, of course, we want to know where we can get them.
Sure. So my favorite for the men is absolutely the one.
Okay.
It's called the one for a reason. It's super fresh. It's just a clean, classic take on just the modern man.
Can I smell
and this
it?
is my number one seller as well.
Okay. It's the number one seller.
Yes.
That smells nice. So do you find women buy the men's scent as well?
Yes. So I have 8 scents altogether, and 3 of them are actually unisex. So I wouldn't say this one is so much unisex, but possibly intention.
Intention. And then what's your favorite women's scent?
My favorite one for women.
Oh, this smells really good.
That one?
Yeah. So what's the throw like? Like, how long does the scent last?
Lasts all day.
Okay.
Because I'm using 100% oil. So typically with like perfumes, they cut it. It's usually like a 10% or 20% perfume, and the rest is alcohol. But mine is 100% oil. There's no alcohol in it.
Okay, let me smell one of the women.
Women, I would say gorgeous.
Gorgeous? Okay.
Yes, one of the main notes is pistachio in that.
Okay. All right, gorgeous. All right, fresh. All right, good morning. I would love to rub that into the boarding. Okay. That sounds amazing. So I'm assuming you have a website,
I do.
And we know that this Friday there is basically an economic blackout. No Target, no Walmart, no online shopping, no gas, but supporting local businesses, black businesses, and independents. So let us know where we can go and support you.
So you can shop at colognebutter.com. And on the tab, there's also a tab for perfume butter on there as well.
Okay, so colognebutter.com.
Yes.
All right, so I teased really quickly what are some of the biggest money mistakes you've seen entertainers make that you work with. What are 3?
Sure. I would say probably the biggest one is that they typically don't have a 9 to 5. They're not getting a constant paycheck every 2 weeks. You know, they work on a project now. They might not get another project for another 3 years. And so they really have to manage their money accordingly, because a lot of them spend money not knowing when the next check is going to come. And then that's kind of, you know, the down spiral that some of them have.
Okay, so not managing their money correctly. I mean, we could all relate to that. At times, you know.
Yeah.
We strive for fiscal responsibility around this way, but stuff happens.
Another one's just living out of their means. You know, some of them have 3 and 4 houses, cars, and
do they have the houses as investment properties, or they just buying
houses? You know, penthouse in New York, a house here, LA. You know, maybe a apartment in London. So they make a lot of money, but they're also spending a lot of money as well.
D in the chat says the cologne butter and perfume butter are all great. It lasts all day and a great moisturizer. I heard that.
I have a customer. Nice.
Okay. We like that. All right. So listen, colognebutter.com. That's where you can find these products. This is Mike's note. Do you have any films coming up that we should be looking out for? Or right now you're focusing on your entrepreneurial side?
I would say Aftershock, because Aftershock is going to be slated to release in the next couple months.
Who's in that?
The main character, I can't think of his name at the moment.
Okay. And the premise, a little bit?
Yeah, the Sean Bell story.
The Sean Bell story. Okay, that's the one that's coming up. All right, listen, we have time for one more story before we get out of here tonight. And I'm just going to give you guys a little update. You know, since we've been talking about money matters, JayZ is very serious about protecting his brand, protecting his image. And we know that he filed a lawsuit against Tony Buzbee, a Houston attorney who initially filed a lawsuit against JayZ and Diddy, alleging sexual assault, which has now been dismissed. Well, you know, JayZ claimed defamation and extortion. Now, the extortion, that probably isn't going to stick. The judge is probably going to kick that. But he did rule that Buzbee acted recklessly and is making a strong case for defamation. Part of what Buzbee did, it involves social media. When celebrity A or B, whichever it was unnamed initially when he filed this lawsuit, Buzbee went on social media and liked a post that said that JayZ was the other celebrity. Well, probably don't want an attorney doing that, right? Not an attorney with 22 cases against Sean Diddy Combs and this one. So Diddy has also filed a motion in New York in the Southern District for all of Buzbee's cases to be kicked because, as we mentioned last night, he doesn't have his credentials together for federal court. He can practice in the state of New York, but not in the federal court. There's different rules for that. So, excuse me, we will keep you updated on this ongoing situation. But JayZ's saying, don't play about me, don't play with my name, and don't play with my family. And I am certainly not mad about that. So I want to thank everyone, of course, for tapping in with us. You know, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the feedback. It's a little wild ride. Y'all got to ease up on my girl, Halle Berry. You know, Dr. Dre, he does his thing. We appreciate it. Make sure you are locked in every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to check me out with the entertainment news update. Coming up next is the voice of reason, Zoe Williams. And, you know, I heard a little preview yesterday of tonight's topic. And if you liked last night's topic, you're not ready for tonight. All of that and more on the other side. Thank you for locking in. We appreciate it.
I make some thought-provoking. Yeah, I question where he's falling off. I'ma really confuse y'all on this one. Follow. When them tops come down, chicks' tops come down. Like when them shots come out, make cops come around. When them blocks come out, I can wake up a small town. Finish off the block, then I make my more rounds. Stairs get exchanged, and the fifth come out. The tough guy disappeared, and the come out. That's him, I'm usually what they whisper about. Either what chick he with, or his chip him out. Cause I've been doing this since Chips was out. Watching Eric Estrada bagging up at the Ramada. Table full of powder. AC bro, about to take another shower on my 25th hour. Spike Lee's everywhere.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. New California legislation is setting guidelines for ethnic studies but excludes the Israeli